Hey everyone, it's Scott here at the XFed Homestead. It's been about 2 weeks since I put out a video, and that's because I was visited by my old nemesis, COVID-19. So had me down and out for a while, although it wasn't as bad as the first time I've had it, which was almost 4 years ago. The backstory on that is that I was giving a speech at a local biotech company, and that biotech company was having a conference which ended up being a super spreader event, and about 300,000 people in Massachusetts ended up with coronavirus back in the early 2020. So it was February 18th of 2020 that apparently I contracted it, and that was before it was becoming all the rage in the media. So I was an early adopter of COVID-19. But this time wasn't as bad, although it was certainly not pleasant, and so I haven't made a video for a couple of weeks. Anyhow, I'm gonna put together some material, and right now I have a video on cleaning out the chicken coop, and I was actually going to make that a much longer video because it was cleaning out the chicken coop and then taking the waste material from that and putting it in the compost as part of my composting system. However, I decided to make it a couple different videos. So I have one of cleaning out the chicken coop, I'll have another one of composting and how I do that, and I'll have another one, I promised earlier, I do one on putting the garden to rest. And so you can see it behind me. It's looking pretty good, and the rows are ready for next spring, and so I'll put that video out as well. And so a lot of editing to do, but I look forward to getting back on board and having some more fun here on the homestead. So stay tuned, and we'll start by cleaning out the chicken coop over here, and we'll see you soon. Hey everyone, it's Scott at the XFed Homestead. Got a lot of work to do today. You'll see the chicken coop behind me right now. That's priority number one. I've got to clean out the chicken coop because last night I was able to give away the 7 chickens that I had to a needy family. And so now they have those chickens and are looking forward to a few eggs from them. And I can clean out this chicken coop and then take the chickens that are coming online now with some eggs that are in the chicken tractor across the yard and bring those and put them in the main coop. I'm looking forward to doing all that today, so let's get started, and we can start by taking a look at inside the chicken coop. I'll give you a quick tour. And here's the inside of the coop. This is where the water goes down here. And you can see on what I call the poop deck over here, they've been pooping there for quite a while. So the manure load goes down below there and I collect it for the compost pile. Down below is the business end of the poop deck. And you can see poop stalagmites that have grown over time. And again, I put diatomaceous earth on there, help draw the water out so it doesn't smell, and I collect it in order to compost it every year, and it does really well in the garden. The feed box is removable, as is the little box over there, the feeder with the calcium in it, the oyster shells, and the grit that I have. I put a new roost in here this past year, which has really worked out. Gives a lot more space to the birds. And you can see we've got about almost a foot of bedding on the floor here that we have to get rid of. Well, now that I got the wheelbarrow and my step in place, I can get in and out of here a little bit easier. The wheelbarrow's off to the side, but that's just one of the difficulties of cleaning out this particular chicken coop. And so that's what I got to do. Now, part of what you probably heard about making good compost is mixing greens and browns. And that is nitrogen-rich materials and carbon-rich materials. And so right now here, the pine shavings here have a lot of chicken manure in them, so that's rich in nitrogen. And the pine shavings themselves are carbon based. So that's a nice mixture. Over here, where the chickens roost every night, underneath there is a lot of nitrogen rich manure. So I'm gonna mix that, take some shovels of this, mix it in with the brown material over there, the carbon rich material, to get a nice mixture to pour onto my compost pile. But I've got to get this material out of here. Now inside this poop deck, I have stalagmites of chicken manure from the past couple of months. And so they go basically in the same place every night. So it's piled up like a stalagmite you might see in a cave. I think those are the ones that come from the bottom up, and the stalactites are the ones that come from the top down. I think I got that right. So just like my compost piles, I like to make a compost lasagna with various layers of carbon and nitrogen rich material. So I put a little brown stuff in the wheelbarrow, then some manure, which I consider the green stuff as it's nitrogen rich, and I layer it like that. And then once I get to the compost pile, I'll layer in scraps, food scraps that we've collected over the year or the last several months, as well as plants that I've taken from the garden. So I throw in whatever I can, and I leave it for a while, and eventually it's compost. Although that's a good load. I look forward to this day because I know it leads to good compost. And I know good compost leads to award-winning vegetables, and delicious vegetables, more importantly. So I don't mind doing this. Well, we're just about done for today. This is kind of my favorite part of the whole chicken coop process. When it's all cleaned out, the compost pile is well fed now for a while, and I just have to finish putting fresh wood chips in here, or fresh pine shavings, and I also throw down some diatomaceous earth as a base layer, especially under the poop deck, as I call it. If you can see it right here, let me change your view a little bit. If you look down here, there's the poop deck there. And what's amazing is after a dozen years, none of this thin wood has rotted. And so that tells me that my technique is kind of working. So I put down some diatomaceous earth on the base of it to get any moisture, especially in the corners that are hard to get to. And you got to watch out, this is dusty stuff. I usually have a mask on, but for videoing purposes today, I don't. But you can see it's pretty dusty. But that puts down a fine layer that'll absorb moisture right off the bat. And as I go, I put in pine shavings, and I will cover the manure so that will absorb the manure as well. So a little extra caution there so that I can continue to use my my poop deck for years to come. And that looks much, much better already. And I don't mind going a little liberally on the pine shavings. So it'll be nice and absorbent there. And you can see here, I have some homemade hinges on there that I made with dowels. So this deck goes up and down, which is kind of cool. And now I just have to take my pine shavings and spread them around. There we go. Now I'm going to go and get the chickens. This way I can take the new layers that are over in the mobile Siskovich style tall mobile chicken coop, the chicken tractor over there on the other side of the property, bring them over here and they can make their home here for a while. I'm going to lock them in here and coop them up, as it were, for a while, maybe 2 or 3 days, so they learn that this is their home right here. And I put a few fake eggs in the rollaway nesting boxes so they'll get used to that and see that that's where you lay eggs. And hopefully that'll all work. So thanks for joining me today, working on cleaning out the chicken coop, taking the leftovers from in here, if you would, putting them in the compost, getting the compost squared away. I'm gonna go get a nice drink and wash down all this dust. And we'll see you next time here at the XFed Homestead.